A very warm welcome to you all. Have you ever picked up an ancient text and just wondered, how does this still speak to us today? Well, that's exactly what we're going to get into. We're going to take a really close look at just 6 verses from the Quran. That's it, just 6. And we're going to break down the story of Noah. Our goal? To find a kind of hidden blueprint inside the story, a pattern that shows us not just what the Quran is saying, but how it teaches these lessons that have lasted for centuries. So let's jump right in. Right, so this is the big question, isn't it? How can a book that's over 1,400 years old still feel relevant? I think the answer, and what's so fascinating, isn't just in the words on the page. It's in the structure. It's in the very architecture of the stories themselves. It's all in the design. And there you have it. This is really the core idea for our entire discussion. The Quran uses this incredibly powerful, repeatable blueprint to make its lessons, well, to make them stick. It's like once you see this pattern in one story, you suddenly start seeing it pop up everywhere. So let's use Noah's story to find it. Okay, so every great story has to have some kind of conflict, right? And in this one, the battle lines are drawn from the get-go. It all kicks off with a simple, direct call and an equally swift and blunt rejection. Just listen to that for a second. It's so direct. There's no complicated theology here. He's saying two things: worship the one God, and a really sincere warning. I fear for you. You can feel he's not talking down to them. He's one of them, and you can just hear the urgency in his voice. So that first part of his message, worship Allah, you have no other God except him, that is a call to something called Tawheed. And this concept is the absolute bedrock of Islam. It's this idea that God is perfectly, indivisibly one. And this isn't just a small detail, it's the central point that everything else is going to hinge on. And what's the response? Whoa. It's immediate, and it is sharp. But notice what they do. They don't debate the idea. They don't ask him any questions. They go straight for personal attack. We see you in clear error. It's a classic move, right? If you can't argue with the message, you just try to discredit the messenger. But we have to pay attention to who is saying this. The Quran uses a very specific word here, al-mala. This means the elite, the notables. So we're not talking about a few random hecklers here. This is the establishment. These are the powerful people whose whole status is wrapped up in the way things are. So for them, this call to worship one God, it's not just a religious debate. It's a direct threat to their entire system. So here it is, side by side, the whole conflict in a nutshell. On one side, you've got this sincere plea for the community's own good. And on the other, a personal attack coming from those who have the most to lose. It's a clash between genuine care and protected self-interest. The stage is officially set. So what do you do when you've been publicly called a fool? How does the prophet respond? Does he get angry? Does he fight back? No. His defense is calm. It's reasoned, and it totally reframes the whole conversation. I mean, just look at this. It's a masterclass in de-escalation. He doesn't get sucked into a no, you're the one in error kind of argument. He just neatly sidesteps the personal jab and lifts the discussion to a higher plane. He's essentially saying, look, this isn't about me. I'm just the mailman. And then he lays out his credentials. It's like his job description, if you will. And it's this powerful 3-part statement that really defines what a prophet's role is. He's not trying to be a king or a politician. His job is very, very specific. So let's break that down. He's giving them 3 reasons to listen. Number 1, transmission. My job is just to deliver the message. Number 2, sincere advice. My motive here is pure. I'm doing this for your benefit. And number 3, divine insight. My authority comes from a source of knowledge that you guys just don't have. It's a completely logical and airtight defense. And that second point about advice is built on this really important ethical concept called nisah. Now, this isn't just any old advice. It's advice that is given with total sincerity for the sole purpose of helping the other person, with absolutely zero thought of personal gain. This really is the moral heart of his mission. He's got nothing to win from this himself. And then he just flips the whole script on them with this amazing rhetorical question. He's pretty much asking, is it really that bizarre that God would send one of your own neighbors to warn you so that you could be shown mercy? He's making them think. The truly weird thing isn't his message. It's their stubborn refusal to even consider it. All right, so we've had the call, we've had the rejection, and we've had the defense. The only thing left now is the outcome, the consequence. and the story moves to its conclusion with, frankly, breathtaking speed. Just look at how compressed this is. I mean, the whole epic story of building the ark, the animals, the Great Flood, it's all packed into this one single verse. Why? Because the focus isn't on the special effects, It's on the moral outcome. Denial leads to destruction, belief leads to salvation. Simple as that. The result is a direct consequence of their choice. And the verse wraps up with this really crucial diagnosis. They were a blind people. The word used here is amiyi, and it's so important to understand that this doesn't mean they couldn't physically see. It's talking about a spiritual blindness, a choice, an inability, or just a flat-out refusal to see the truth right in front of them. Their downfall wasn't because of a lack of evidence. It was a failure of perception. Okay, so we've taken the story of Noah apart, piece by piece. Now it's time to zoom out and look at the big picture. Because what we've just found isn't just a one-off story. It's a template. It's a blueprint that gets used again and again. And here it is, the classic prophetic blueprint. A messenger shows up with a simple call. The elites, the mullah, they push back because they want to protect their power. The prophet responds calmly and rationally, and in the end, divine judgment sorts things out. Once you know this 5-step pattern, you'll start seeing it with prophets all throughout the Quran.
And honestly, this is the real takeaway here. The repetition isn't an accident, it's the whole point. By using this same structure over and over again, the Quran embeds the lesson deep into its very fabric. The moral isn't just something in the story. The moral is the structure of the story itself.
So, I'll leave you with this question. Now that you have this blueprint, the call, the rejection by the elite, the calm defense, and the final consequence, where else do you see this pattern play out? Maybe in other religious texts, in history, heck, even in movies or the news today. This timeless pattern, it's pretty much everywhere once you know what you're looking for.